Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? I hope you're all doing well. So if you are aware, then in April I did an audiobook challenge where I listened to one audiobook every day for 30 days, and I made some videos about some of those audiobooks. So if you go to my channel, you'll see that I made a book review about the power of habit. I made a book review about the power of now. I also made a book review about Ikigai, which is the Japanese secret to happiness. And what I was supposed to do is to choose my top 10 books and then to make a top 10 video. What happened is I did record it, but it was literally like about 30 minutes long. There was too many like brilliant books. And one of the books that I was having a discussion with yesterday with one of my counselling clients was this book that I'm going to talk about now. And I'm going to try and keep it succinct, but I recommend this book to anyone, and it's called The 4 Agreements. It's by Don Miguel Ruiz. Now, the book essentially is about how if you apply these 4 agreements to your life, then you will just have like a better life. Because what happened yesterday, for example, when I was talking to my client, we are getting affected, or we're responding or reacting to things that other people are doing when we don't have control over those other people. If you make an agreement with yourself or a promise that you are going to behave in a particular way, then what that means is when other people try to roll you up, or other people try to get you to go to their level or do any of that stuff, you won't rise to it, because you've already committed to making a promise and an agreement of how you will behave, how you will respond. So in any situation, those people are not going to allow you to bring them down to their level. So the 4 agreements are: don't make assumptions, be impeccable with your word, always do your best, and don't take things personally. So I'm going to try to break them down slightly, but as I've said, this book, the full audiobook was on YouTube, but as you know with audiobooks, once they become popular, they get removed from YouTube. So you can find the different chapters, because that's what I did and sent to my client, but you probably won't find the full audiobook. You'll need to go out and purchase that. So the first one, be impeccable with your word. It goes into loads of detail with this. It talks about how powerful words are. If we listen to the words that other people say, then it can have a massive impact on us. It can make us feel, have low self-esteem. It can make us feel bad about ourselves. So we have to guard ourselves against that, but we also have to be responsible for the words that we use. Now, a lot of my clients that come to see me, the issues are communication, whether that's in their relationships with their spouses, whether it's with their family members. It's all down to communication, and this is where the second one comes in: don't make assumptions. We can never assume that we know what someone means by what they're communicating. We can never assume that what's going on in someone else's mind. We can never assume that we know where they're coming from. Lots of times we misunderstand what other people are trying to say, and therefore we believe it to be true, and then where they're defending ourselves, where they're fighting the cause, saying, yes, you meant this when you told me this, or the way you came into the kitchen, you did this, blah, 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 all these assumptions. So what the book tries to say is that make a promise that you will always investigate things before you assume. You will always ask the other person to explain where they're coming from, and you won't make assumptions. The other part about being impeccable with your word, this is a clear thing that I was having a discussion with yesterday with my client. As a person, I've done so much personal development work, but also I need to recognise that I'm in a professional position, not only as a counsellor, as a coach, but I'm also a social worker. I've also worked professionally in lots of environments. I need to be clear on how I communicate. But if there are people there's so many communication games that are being played these days, where people are trying to get under your skin, where people are trying to push your buttons, where people are shouting to get their point across, where people are saying provocative things, people are saying discriminatory things, all of that is about them. That has nothing to do with you, and that's the third thing: don't take things personally. If someone has an issue, then that is their issue. I'll sometimes say to my clients when they're talking about a problem, I'll say, whose problem is that? Don't take on board the burden of other people's problems. If they have issues, let them work on their issues, but don't take it personally. It doesn't have to mean that what they're saying is true about you. It means what they're saying they believe to be true, and that's fine. you know, we spend too much time and wasted energy trying to convince people of things that we believe to be true, trying to convince people to change their mind, it's all because we're taking it personally. And what it says in the book is that if you were to say, just allow people to be themselves, if someone says something, you can either absorb it or you can say, that doesn't apply to me. I mean, this has changed my life completely anyway, just this one thing about, I don't watch the news. Everyone laughs at me because they say, like, why are you always so like happy? Why are you optimistic and things? Why are you? Some people will say I'm actually too like, what do they call me? There's people, some of my Facebook friends will say that I'm like unrealistic about the world and that I live in this dream world. I don't, but I don't absorb the news, because if I was to watch the news every single day, then I'd be, you know, absorbing all of those messages, which are not even all true. I don't watch certain things on YouTube. I don't take on board certain people's beliefs or opinions about what they believe to be true. They're entitled to it. On my YouTube channel, if someone disagrees with me, I don't delete the comment. I don't argue with them. I say thank you for your comment, because it's their belief. Don't take things personally. Think about it. It's that person's issue. It's that person's thoughts. It's that person's belief. They're entitled to it. If we all lived where we just said, you know what, I disagree with you, but that's fine, or we didn't even engage with half of the things we engage with, we'd be much happier. So don't be impeccable with your word. So be clear and concise about what you want to say. Have discussions where they're either meaningful. If the discussions are not going anywhere, you don't need to engage. It's a privilege for people to engage with you. You have to think of it as being, you can walk away. If they're not willing to treat you in the way that you want to be treated, they don't deserve to be in your life. Now, I'm quite like cutthroat when it comes to things like that. If you disrespect me in any way as a person, that's the end. You know, it's the end of the engagement that we're going to have together. There's no like repairing it. When it's family, it's different. But if you're not family to me, then I can quite easily say end of conversation and walk away. We need to be able to, you know, accept that it's not about changing people. It's not about trying to say to someone, well, you have to understand me and you have to listen to what I've got to say, and, you know, defending your position. That is like where people live in this distressed state, where they're constantly getting on edge, constantly getting into, you know, disagreements with people. We don't have to live like that. We can live by not making assumptions, so checking things out with people. Being impeccable with your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you need to express something, express it. Don't try and convince, persuade, force, beg, plead, you know, with people who do not want to hear your side point of view. You know, leave them to it. That's up to them. Don't assume. And the fourth one is always do your best. So what it says in the book is that if you go through life where you are always putting your best foot forward, and that's with everything you do. You know, me, whether I was a cleaner, I've been a cleaner for, I think I spent 6 months being a cleaner. I was cleaning houses for people. I was ironing the children's clothes. I was doing the vacuuming. People would give me 5 stars and they'd be saying, you know, you don't have to. I'd stay extra time if it meant staying extra without getting paid, just to make sure the children's uniforms were tidy and stuff. I didn't need to be doing that. Job, I'm overqualified for it, but you know, it was to get like extra income when I was first self-employed. For me, the goal was to do my best, you know, and getting those 5 stars was really important because all my clients were happy. And the same as in my roles as a counsellor, you know, I want to do my best. What we have to understand is there are lots of people trying to take shortcuts. They're saying, right, well, how can I do this quickly? How can I make more money by doing this? How can I find a way to get loads of things done? But they're not. There are so many mediocre people who are not willing to do their best when it comes to certain things. They say, that's beneath me, or, you know, I'm not going to do this job in the best way I can. And the problem with that is you end up feeling that not only have you shortchanged other people, you've shortchanged yourself. If you walk out into the world and you make that promise that you are going to always do your best, you're going to do your best when you interact with people, you're going to do your best when you take on roles and tasks, you're going to do your best when you, whatever it is, then, you know, and there's a video I'm going to be making at some point about, because I've been watching Wimbledon, I'm obsessed with tennis. Forget the football, I'm obsessed with tennis. Now imagine if you step onto a tennis court and you don't know how long you're going to be playing for. The fortitude and mental strength you have to play a tennis match for 4 hours. Forget the physical, because the physical is one thing. The mental strength, you know, the ability you have to have. So that person has to be determined, and I'm going to make another video about that. But that is what comes under, I think, always do your best. You know, when what's his name? Oh, his name's gone out of my head. Oh, it's not going to come back to me. But anyway, when the Scottish guy, and I can't remember his name, I watched his match the other day. I could literally not move. 4 hours he was on the court for, and he was determined he was going to win that match. He didn't care that he hasn't played tennis as much, had as many matches. He didn't care that he had just had a hip operation. That was it, Andy Murray. The determination and the mental strength that he had to have for those 4 hours being on that court is phenomenal, and we can all learn from that. You know, we can all learn something, but that's a separate video that I'll need to make. So I hope you found this video useful. Check out the book. It's called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's one of the best books I've ever read. I'll definitely recommend it, and I hope you found this video useful. Please feel free to like, to share, and to leave your comments. And if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.